What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Optimus Fantasy Football channel. We are here for week 3, the Optimus Fantasy Football show. I am joined by my co-host with the most, the one and only Kacey Kasem.
Howdy.
Kacey, how
Yo.
are we doing this week? Heading into week 3, we've got 2 weeks of, well, hell as a fantasy manager. Week 3 is going to be even worse, which we'll get into. How are you feeling about your teams heading into week 3?
I'm feeling okay about my teams. A few of them are struggling on the injury front, hardcore. It's like when one guy goes down, the rest of your team decides to go down too. But overall feeling pretty well with, good about my rosters. Scott Fishbowl, I'm doing awesome in there. 376. Yeah, baby.
Nice.
And yeah, it's been all right. So it's only been 2 weeks, so anything can happen.
Anything can. I'm 0-4 in Scott Fishbowl. It's not been great. Yeah, Jen's doing really well though. She's 4-0, I believe. So at least one of us is representing. The Optimus family is representing pretty heavily. I think I'm in last place amongst all of us. So, and that my home league, I lost to my sister-in-law this past week.
That's always yeah.
At least she knows ball. So yeah. I'm okay with it.
But still, when it's your family, like I know, just your family in general loves to poke
my brother-in-law does not know ball. He doesn't know ball like at all, and I'll probably lose to him too, and it's going to frustrate me. But Brian, if you're listening, I mean, you do know some ball, just not as much as us. That's all I'm saying, buddy. That's
there
all
you go. Don't alienate him.
He knows I love him. Guys, if you're struggling, the injuries, all the things we're going to talk about, head on over to our Discord channel. We definitely have a link to that in the show description down below. Waiver wire advice, dynasty discussions. We have best NFL bets, DFS advice, and so much more over there. Come join the community. It's growing fast. We are excited to have all of you come over there. And I've got to mention our tools, Kacey. They are live right now. And if you head over to tools.optimusfantasy.com, use the promo code 3 to get $10 off your first 3 months. We've got all of the data, all of the live data. This is my favorite part about our tools, Kacey. The data updates in game through all the slates. So every 15 minutes, all those advanced analytics are getting pumped back into our system.
Love it.
So if you're a nerd like us and you can check out all that stuff in game, you can have a grip on kind of what's going on in the game. It helps with betting. It helps with in-game betting. It'll help you down the line with DFS. So make sure you go check that out. And now, Kacey, let's get to it. The most important, the QB apocalypse this week. The injury rash at quarterback is real, and it's not fun. We'll start with J.J. McCarthy. He's got the high ankle sprain. He's considered week to week. It looks like they're going to roll Carson Wentz out for week 3. Now, obviously, nobody's going out to grab Carson Wentz on the waiver wire. We're not going to advocate for that. But what I'm curious about is everything that you've heard with J.J. McCarthy. Do you think this offense, the other parts in it, get better or worse with Carson Wentz, especially like Justin Jefferson, who we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show? Do these guys maybe get a little bit bumped with at least a veteran?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it not getting any worse. I think that it's going to at least be the same. Carson Wentz, like you said, he's a veteran. He's been around for a while. What's that stat that's going around about how he's the first quarterback to be a starting quarterback for 6 different teams in 6 consecutive seasons? So, like, yeah.
I think we're going to see a big bump for Justin Jefferson. He's sitting at, wide receiver 22 right now in PPR. It's ugly for him. This is not what we expected. A guy who was ranked wide receiver 3 heading into the season in most people's draft rankings. At least that's the consensus on Fantasy Pros. Somewhere in that top 3 wide receivers. He wasn't falling out of that. We've seen a huge dip in production with McCarthy. I think some of us expected it, but not to this level. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy who has been an absolute just elite monster, having 12.8 and then 9.6 half PPR points his first 2 weeks. Obviously a symptom of J.J. McCarthy, who, I mean, if 100%. We're talking about week 2, McCarthy looked awful. He looked scattered again. He looked exactly
I
like he
mean,
looked in the
yeah.
first half of that Bears game. Couldn't put it together. They were getting too much pressure on him. We've heard some grumblings that possibly this high ankle sprain isn't nearly as bad as it's being said to be, and that they're just looking for a reason to bench him. Either way, I do think that Justin Jefferson at least gets a little bit bumped
I can see that.
this week. Carson Wentz knows how to throw the ball. You don't
He
have to
does.
love him. He's not a guy who's going to get your team to the playoffs long term, but he's a very serviceable backup.
Yeah, he's a good Band-Aid, and you can't with the 7 out of 8 quarters of football just not being there. You're like,
yeah,
okay, maybe Carson Wentz is what this team needs to kind of get it going.
It could be very good for the locker room, too. Get a bit better flow to the offense, help the defense out a little bit. The next one, Brock Purdy. He's right now looking at 2 to 3 weeks on the bench. That's another 2 to 3 weeks of Mac Jones. He's mostly rostered across most leagues at this point. People panicked, grabbed him, and especially after this last waiver run, he's not a guy you're generally going to find. But with Purdy, what I want to bring up, Casey, his injury's turf toe adjacent. They're saying 2 to 3 weeks, but we just saw Burrow now. IR, they're saying 3 months. With Purdy, is this maybe a little bit concerned about it being worse and maybe him missing more than just those 2 to 3 weeks?
Yeah, and then that kind of pains me as somebody that has him rostered in some dynasty leagues. Yeah, you might have to roll with Mac Jones a little longer. I know we were talking about Mac Jones last week, and you were asking some questions with it. You were right about, he did come in there and left pretty good, and so yeah, you might have to just prepare yourself for the the long future.
The long future of Mac Jones. I mean, dude, last week it could have been a lot worse. 25.76 PPR points. Well, quarterback points. Obviously, PPR doesn't matter to a quarterback, but he played well enough that I think that if you've got him, you're safe starting him for the next 2 to 3 weeks. And if Purdy's out longer, I think you're safe continuing to start Mac Jones. He's in a system that he knows already. Kyle Shanahan wanted him in this system anyway, like we talked about last week, and he showed that he fits in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is the next one. Knee sprain, day to day. It would be Marcus Mariota in relief. With the sputtering that we've seen out of this Washington offense, do you think much changes for guys like Zach Ertz, Terry McLaurin, who just haven't? Zach Ertz has been better, but Terry McLaurin right now is wide receiver 72.
Yeah, I know. And that's gross for starters. Super gross. I mean, yeah, I think maybe it gets better. I don't know. It might be one of those. He has a good game here, and then we don't see anything from him like the last. Yeah.
I'm sitting all Washington Commanders assets this week if it's Marcus Mariota. We've seen him come in relief. He's not a great thrower of the ball. He's not as mobile as he was when he was younger. I thought he was overdrafted in the NFL draft. I didn't think he should have been a first-round pick. But here we are. He's going to take the helm in Washington. The only person I might give a little bit bump to is Bill Krosky-Merritt. I think he'll just see more touches, more opportunity. If he's efficient with it or not, that's another question. Now, the last one, Joe Burrow, 3 months, as we mentioned earlier, having toe surgery on that turf toe. What a BS name for an injury. It sounds so mild, and it's just a terrible injury.
Name.
So now we've got Jake Browning stepping in, which a lot of people are like, who the hell's Jake Browning? Well, in 2023, Jake Browning went 4-3 in 7 starts in relief of Burrow in 9 total games that he played to round out that season. He finished as QB 26. He was QB 21 in points per game. Jake Browning is a guy that I think mostly is off the waiver wire at this point. I don't think you're really going to be able to get him. People are panicking. But are you feeling good about starting Jake Browning if you have to, Kacey?
Especially if you don't get counted off for interceptions. But yeah, I think I'm probably not starting him. There are a few leagues where I might have him on my bench ready to go if I need somebody. With all the other injuries we've been having, you might as well have him on your roster just in case. But I'm not just putting him in right now. I just don't feel comfortable doing that in that position.
I think if you're in a 1 QB league and you grabbed him, I'm okay starting him. at this point, but I'm not like running to the waiver wire praying he's available. Right now, he's rostered in 7.5% of ESPN leagues, and he's rostered in only 3% of sleeper leagues. So if you need a quarterback, he's a guy post waivers you can probably grab. Again, I'm not necessarily saying you should run out and just be super excited about starting Jake Browning, but he is there. So yeah, I don't know. We've got a comment in the chat from Jamie. What about Jeremy McNichols to take those passing targets? That's a possibility with Austin Eckler out. I don't know how excited I am about that. I think we're going to see hyper targeting to Zach Ertz.
There we go. Ertz.
Yeah. Yeah. Ertz. I start the bidding with toe tear instead of turf toe from Frank in the chat. I like that one better. Or I was going to call it just like elephant toe, busted ass toe. I don't know.
BAT. There we go.
Yeah.
Bat toe.
No, Jamie, I want to clarify. He was QB 20 in points per game. He didn't have 20 points per game. I'd have to go back and look exactly. That's what Fantasy Pros has for him. That would be interesting. I'll have to go check on that because I looked at it. Oh, here's a good one. Cauliflower toe from Frank in the chat. That's what we're calling it from now on. It is going to be cauliflower toe.
Sounds gross.
Well, the turf toe's gross.
I know it is gross.
So it's fitting.
There's so many words out there that are gross.
There are a lot of gross words. Now, Casey, with Browning starting, how do we feel about Jamar Chase? How do we feel about T. Higgins? How do we feel about Chase Brown?
I mean, Chase, I'm going to say I feel comfortable enough to start him because it's Chase. He had 128 of his 165 receiving yards with Browning when Browning came in week 2. So, like, I don't feel I feel confident going that direction. The other guys, I'm probably leaving them on the bench this week.
I'm going to downgrade T. Higgins for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Browning's not Joe Burrow. He can't spread the ball out. He is Jake Browning though. But I think he'll get the ball to Jamar Chase. I think maybe we see a little bit of a bump with Chase Brown, sees a little bit more volume. They're just going to be forced to run it. They can't throw it 600 times with Jake Browning. It's just simply not feasible whatsoever. No. I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. We'll see what Zach Taylor decides to do. We'll see what happens. Now, speaking of some of these underperforming and overperforming players we were talking about, Casey, let's get into our next segment, sounding the alarm on some of these underperforming players. How worried are we about them? There's been a lot of it too. I mean, AJ Brown's been a guy who underperformed week 1, saw the 1 target. A lot of that was concerning. And it's hard to know really what we're going to see through 2 weeks, but I want to talk about some of these players because I know that there are managers out there panicking, and I want to either talk them through it or let them know that, this is probably something to be concerned about. Let's start with Bo Nix, Denver Broncos quarterback. He was initially ranked in the Fantasy Pros draft rankings consensus QB 7. Right now, Bo Nix is QB 23, and it's been kind of ugly. He did look a little bit better last week against Indy, but there has to be some concern here. He's 22 of 30, 3 touchdowns, but he's got 3 interceptions to 4 touchdowns this season. He's not getting sacked, so the pressure's not there. Do you think that this is just like last season where he was rough through probably the first 4 weeks, then he picked it up and played better? Is that more what we're seeing with Nix right now?
That's how I'm feeling. I want Denver fans such as yourself to feel a little bit better about this. I think that he improved. He didn't look great, but he looked good in that first half. And, I think it's just a matter of getting those first few weeks out. Some of these guys are just start off slow or have those periods where they just got stretched. So I think he picks it back up.
I mean, if we look at Joe Burrow's last few years, he's been slow to start the season as well. So it's trending that way until he got hurt. I think what's interesting with Nix, the next few matchups, they've got the Chargers in Los Angeles. That's going to be tough. Cincinnati, then they're at Philly, at the Jets, get the Giants, Dallas, and Houston all ahead of week 10. So this isn't necessarily an easy schedule for Bo Nix, but I do think he's going to turn it around, especially now that we're seeing him kind of connect with his college teammate, Troy Franklin, who was a guy we're going to get to here in a little bit. But I do think that there's hope that Nix turns it around. Dak Prescott, This is one I wasn't expecting because he's a guy who always kind of lives in that QB8 to QB12 range. Going into the season, we had him ranked QB7 in draft rankings. He is currently QB21. There's been a lot of concern in general, Kacey, around this Dallas team, and you're right there in the thick of it there in Texas, in McKinney. What do you think about Dak Prescott? Is he going to turn this around? Is his offense going to turn things around? Yeah, you think so?
I do. I think so. I mean, we already saw last week now. Yeah, I mean, it was a new week, but the first week it didn't look good. Second week, much improved, and just getting George Pickens more involved and Jake Ferguson leading, and doing what he can do. I think that the weapons are there. And the defense just looks so right now. Not just right now. I think for a while it's going to look like that. Yeah, I think he's going to have plenty of opportunities to get yeah. And maybe we'll get some more overtime games too. And we love bonus football for fantasy football. So let's keep doing that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Kacey, I'm not super worried either. They've got Chicago. I am worried about week 4 against Green Bay. But then they've got the Jets, Carolina, Washington. Denver's going to be a tough one. Arizona before the bye. And then they get Vegas right after the bye. I don't think this is an especially tough schedule, barring like 2 games. Dak should be back up into that like QB 12 to 14 range in a couple of weeks, and I think he'll be fine. I still think he's a QB1 on the season here when it's all said and done. Now Chase Brown, right now, RB23. We had him ranked as RB10. With Jake Browning, do we believe that this is going to be much different for Chase Brown? I've got to think there's at least going to be an increase in volume.
I would hope.
He had 21 carries against Cleveland, which was good, but he wasn't efficient. Only 43 yards on the ground, 2 yards per carry. 16 for 47 last week. A little bit better, but he didn't get the touchdown, which just zapped his fantasy value. I think they've got to increase his volume.
Yeah.
Now with Browning, but is he going to be able to be efficient with it? Is it going to change anything for fantasy, or is this a guy who's going to sit as a back-end RB2 for most of the season?
I think he might be a back-end RB2 for most of the season, which I'm sorry. Yeah, the inefficiency through 2 weeks so far, and I don't see it getting much better.
Well, this is a bad offensive line.
Yes.
And people just keep forgetting that. And running backs can't operate when the blocking isn't there.
Right.
You don't have any especially efficient blocking tight ends either to fill in. So even running 12 personnel, you're rolling out guys like Noah Fant and Mike Gesicki, known poor blocking tight ends.
Yeah.
I think this scheme is just not set up for Chase Brown to succeed. I feel like RB 24 to like 26 is where we end up seeing him at the end of the season. Now, Justin Jefferson, wide receiver 21 right now, Kacey. We already kind of touched on that. Ranked as wide receiver 3. When McCarthy comes back, we know he's going to see a bump in volume with Wentz. He's probably going to see a lot of volume that might have gone to guys like Jalen Naylor and TJ Hawkinson, with Aaron Jones possibly out, maybe some of that volume as well underneath. But when McCarthy comes back, are you concerned that we see him take a fantasy value dip again?
I am kind of concerned about that, considering what we've seen so far this season.
Yeah.
I when he comes back, okay, let's try it again and see if we can get a mulligan on this.
I do believe that McCarthy's going to be okay long-term. I think he's a good quarterback, and I think in Dynasty, I'm glad that I've got him stashed where I have him stashed. But it should tell you how I felt about him coming into this season, that he is still on my taxi squad in all those leagues. I never pulled him off, even knowing he was going to start. I didn't draft him into situations where I needed to start him right away, and that was intentional. Anywhere where I was looking for an actual QB1, I made trades. There was nobody in this class I was even remotely excited about. So at least for year 1, like, again, it's like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward's going to be, I think Cam Ward
I would like to trade my Cam Ward shares to some people if they'd like them. So if you're listening, you're in my dynasty.
Yeah, there was a reason I stayed away. I just wanted to throw this out here. Frank in the chat saying, oh, just wait, the Cowboys are about to drop 70 on the Bears. That's probably not that far off. We've got Mr. Doug Royer. Hi, Nate and Kacey. Good to see you again. It's good to see you here, Doug.
Hello, father.
No QBs in this draft class, Nate. Yes, Hoove is a known Tyler Shuck truther. I'm sorry, buddy. I like Tyler Shuck. I do. And Hoove and I have had some conversations about this. I like the prospect. I like the talent. I hate the situation right
Yeah, I
now.
was about to say.
Maybe next year, if he gets a chance to
Maybe
start
next
next year, I probably will be in on Tyler Shuck as like a back end pick in most fantasy drafts. I can't. Even if he gets the starting nod this season, this team is so bad. They're barely getting by with Spencer Rattler, and I don't think Shuck's going to be any better right now just because of the inexperience. Sorry, Hoove. I still love you, buddy. Terry McLaurin is another one, Casey. Wide receiver 72 on the season. He was ranked as wide receiver 18. Marcus Mariota aside, knee injury aside to Jaden Daniels, when Jaden Daniels is 100% in this offense, does Terry McLaurin see a bump in fantasy value, or is this where is he stuck? Like, it was last year just a 1 year wonder, and now we're screwed, all of us who drafted Terry McLaurin high.
I mean, I don't know if we're screwed, but we're close. I couldn't come up with anything fun there. Sorry, guys. But yeah, like the Commanders' passing game's kind of been playing it safe, and he's been seeing he saw 9 targets in the last game. So I mean, sure, but so there's the positives, but I'm like, is he going to be the guy that I have to put in my flex spot every week because he's not the guy you drafted him to be right now.
And if he's not getting the red zone looks and he's not scoring touchdowns, like, sure, the 9 targets is great. 5 catches for 48 yards isn't enough.
Nope.
Right. I'm worried that the offense is moving away from using him in the situations that made him so fantasy valuable last year, because they've got Deebo Samuel to do all of that now. Mm-hmm. And I don't know that we accounted enough for Deebo Samuel heading into the season. I know I didn't, because it felt like Deebo Samuel was kind of washed. He's obviously not playing really well in this offense. So I am concerned about Terry McLaurin long-term too, Casey. It worries me that we're just not going to see that touchdown equity, and there's going to be a lot of negative regression here, and that we're going to be dropping or trading McLaurin here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I can't have a wide receiver 72 sitting on my roster unless it's a deep league.
This is the thing with Terry McLaurin too. I feel like we have conversations about him sometimes where we're like, where is he? And then like he comes back, but it's like, this is concerning. This is one of those that I would actually be concerned about.
I am too. And if you look at his history, he was wide receiver 7 last year, but he had 13 touchdowns.
Yeah, touchdowns.
He's had similar seasons. He's had seasons with more targets. He's had seasons with more catches. He's had seasons with more yards, but never higher than wide receiver 14 in any of those other seasons. So,
yeah, it's concerning. 72. Wow, man.
Wide receiver 72. He'll creep up. At worst, he's going to be like a back end wide receiver 3, 34, 35, 36. I was
about to say, about 35.
That's still for where you were drafting him. That hurts. Yeah. It hurts a lot. DJ Moore is another one, Casey. He's wide receiver 58 right now. We were ranking him at wide receiver 23. I had him even higher in my rankings. I thought he was still going to be that alpha receiver over Rome Odunze in this offense. Not only was I wrong, even the people who had him as a back-end wide receiver 2 right now were wrong. Rome Odunze is the guy. We're going to talk about him in our next segment. Is there room for DJ Moore in this offense now that Rome Odunze has kind of taken over that alpha role? Or is this about where he lives, that maybe he's a wide receiver 4 flex most weeks?
Right now, it looks like that could be the case. There's a lot of things on that Bears offense that they are having issues with. I mean, just talk to their tight ends right now. They're having issues in that passing game with a lot of the guys we were high on going into the season. So it is concerning. Uh-oh. Buddy, you're muted.
Yep. It's not like he's not seeing targets. He's had 11 through 2 games, 8 catches, 7.67 yards per target is not great.
No.
Not for a guy that you were ranking as a back-end wide receiver 2. And I don't think this changes either. This is what this offense is. I have questions about Caleb Williams and who he is overall as a player too. So Yeah, it's a bummer, but some of
It
these
is a
guys are going
bummer.
to recover. DJ Moore is just not one of them. Yep, and I'll eat that one. Fantasy receipts, you can come for me. It's fine. I'm not afraid.
I'm not.
Not afraid. All right, let's move to the overperformers, and let's do a little bit of a reality check on some of these players, Casey. The first one, Justin Herbert, QB5 right now. He was ranked QB15 in the draft rankings. Is this sustainable in this offense in Los Angeles?
You mean MVP Justin Herbert? Isn't that what we're saying right now? MVP
Pretty
Justin
much.
Herbert. No, I think you can trust him the rest of the season. I like the addition of Keenan Allen over there. I know bringing him back, it's been very good for the team. And then you see like Johnston stepping up, and you see they're looking like AFC West like top dogs. So I think he's going to keep firing it up like that.
I do too. I think this offense is leaning a little bit more into the pass. Harbaugh hinted at it this offseason when he said, it's my goal to get Justin Herbert into the Hall of Fame. Well, you don't get into the Hall of Fame as a quarterback unless you throw the ball a lot. They really only have Amari and Hampton. Najee Harris has been insanely inefficient, just wildly inefficient. I love Justin Herbert rest of season. I think he climbs higher. I think this is a guy who could finish QB3, QB2. Just kind of depending on how things shake out, especially because Josh Allen has been good, but they haven't needed Allen to do nearly as much. He's QB3 right now, but last week he only had 11 PPR points, 11 fantasy points. So now Daniel Jones, this is the big one. We had him ranked as QB 29 this offseason. Right now he's QB2, Casey. He did it against a very good Denver defense. Is he going to keep doing it?
Is he going to keep doing it? I think so. I think he is. I really have. Okay, last week I said, let's see what he does in week 2. I was excited for that. And then we saw it, and I'm super excited. I really am. And I mean, they haven't even punted yet with him.
Which is insane.
Which is insane.
They're the only team in the Super Bowl era, right?
Yeah, I think. Is that what? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's dope. Yeah.
This is just crazy. Danny Dimes is relevant, and not just relevant. I lost out on him in our neighborhood league because I had the number 2 waiver wire priority, and the number 1 team took him, and then I missed out on him everywhere else because I wasn't willing to spend half of my fab. People are getting so excited about it, and I think you have to be a little bit measured about it. If Daniel Jones finishes QB 10 to 12, I will call that a massively successful season for him.
For real.
I don't think he can maintain QB2. That's insane. No, not with some of these other guys in the league. But what? Jonathan Taylor had 168 yards rushing against Denver. If this offense can keep this up, Daniel Jones is going to have a very good season. And this is a team that people might want to kind of start getting afraid of in the AFC for just real football.
Yeah.
Yep. Who's saying if Daniel Jones wasn't taking so much spotlight, the turnaround this year or so far would be Rattler under Moore. Yeah. I don't know, man. I need to see a little bit more of that. I have Juwan Johnson. Yeah. We're going to talk about Juwan Johnson.
Yeah, I know. I jumped the gun. I just got a little excited.
I know, me too. Javonte Williams is the next one I want to talk about over here with the Cowboys. RB2. We had him ranked at RB34. Do you think this is going to keep up with Williams? I know we've talked about, these first 2 weeks, easy matchups. We think that he can keep it up through those 2 weeks, but then they've got Chicago, Green Bay, then they've got the Jets in Carolina, but it gets tougher from there. Is Javonte Williams even a top 12 quarterback at the end of the season? Running back.
Yeah, I was going to say not a quarterback. No, but definitely yes, running back. You know what? I'm going to go with yes. As a Cowboys fan, I'm not being a homer here. Like, I was totally off the running backs in the Cowboys offense this year. I was like, nah, that's who I'm picking. But no, I think you can trust him. And I mean, he played on 75% of Dallas's offensive snaps last week. Like, and you brought up, okay, some of the teams. They got the Bears. That's what I'm looking at right now. They're playing the Bears, and yeah. So, but yes, in general, I think he's going to. He might. There might be some games where he falls off. He's going to drop a little bit, but I don't think that. I think you could say he's a top 12 guy this season.
I think he is too. I think he might even be a top 5 guy if they keep feeding him. I mean, 15 attempts, 54 yards, 2 touchdowns week 1, but then they bumped it up to 18 carries, 97 yards on the ground and a touchdown. And then he's getting targeted too. He saw 7 targets
that's what
against the Giants. So I think the volume's going to remain there. Miles Sanders isn't exciting, even though he sniped a touchdown last week, but that's going to happen. But Miles Sanders isn't a threat. Jaden Blue, obviously, as much as we thought he might be a threat, he is not a threat whatsoever. What about Travis Etienne, running back 7 right now? We had him pegged as RB 31. They got Tank Bigsby out of the way. We're seeing Bashal Tutin get some volume, but I can't see it going away for Etienne. I think he might be a top 10 running back rest of season. Casey, what do you think?
I have hesitation on that just because I get nervous about like timeshares or whatever, splitting, whatever, that kind of thing. But I think like he's already done more this season than I had expected to him going in. Most of us, I mean, yeah, RB7 though. I'm top 12 guy maybe this year. We'll go with the top 12. We'll go with the top 12. I can see it. There is the hesitation, but I think that they both have their role on that team.
Sure. Well, and 16 for 143 against Carolina, bad defense.
Yeah.
14 for 71, but then he adds the receiving touchdown against Cincinnati, also not a great defense.
No.
Houston's got a much better defense. That's their week 3 matchup. And then San Francisco and Kansas City. These 3 weeks are going to tell us a lot about Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
If he can continue to have 4 yards to 5 yards per carry efficiency over these next 3 weeks, then I will believe that Travis Etienne is the RB1 in Jacksonville and that this is sustainable. Until then, I'm not ready to say that this is something. I think he could be a top 10 running back if that volume holds and if that efficiency holds. We're going to have to see it because we've seen in the past, this was last season, 3.72 yards per carry. The season before, 3.78 yards per carry. He was RB3 that season in 2023, but 267 carries and 11 touchdowns. It was more about the touchdown equity and the yardage than it was about his actual efficiency. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't believe in this Jacksonville offense, Casey. At all.
I don't either. And that stinks. I'm trying to trade away players. I'm like, look, please. Hey.
Could Travis Hunter play quarterback as well as cornerback and wide receiver? Because
there's a first time for everything. Let's go.
Trevor Lawrence, there was a defining moment in that game on Sunday for me. It's when he was so unaware of where he was on the field that he made a forward pass 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. It's one thing to have your toe over or be a half step over. That happens. 3 yards. That tells me that his head's not in it. And his just field awareness is crap. And he's making mistakes because of it. And it just ruins his whole offense outside of Travis Etienne for me. So, yeah, it's ugly.
I know.
Now, Chuba Hubbard, running back 19 was his ranking. He is currently running back 9. This Carolina offense is atrocious. Bryce Young is just not it. They can't move the ball unless they give it to Chuba Hubbard.
Right.
Do you think that continues throughout the season? Is Chuba Hubbard a guy that you're comfortable rolling out every week?
Yes, but they're going to have to, like we saw they're going to abandon the run game when they're down. They're going to have to throw it when they're down by a lot. Like, it's just going to happen. So because he has that pass catching ability, like, I feel more comfortable with him in PPR leagues. But I still feel I can trust him for the season because he has the lock on that role right now in the offense. So
yeah, I think it's sustainable. There's nothing else about this offense that makes me excited whatsoever. I'm comfortable rolling him out. I wrote him up as a value before the season started, and I think I was right. I think it
he's a
worked out.
value for sure.
I want Tet McMillan to be better with Bryce Young, and I think he'll be okay. But I think Chuba's the guy you want in this offense right now. Volume, production, efficiency, he's the one that you want. Let's go through the rest of these here, and then we will get everyone out of here. Well, of course, our least exciting and most exciting matchups in our busts for the week, but J.K. Dobbins, a little bit of a resurgence in Denver. I think we all expected R.J. Harvey to kind of do more than he's done. But what we've got out of Dobbins are 2 14-plus fantasy point outputs, 2 touchdowns. He's seen 4 targets across 2 games. He's got 30 carries. He's going to need the touchdowns to stay relevant.
100%.
Does that? But do you think he keeps getting those carries? Does any of that shift to R.J. Harvey at all?
I don't. Like you said, I think we expected more from Harvey so far, and so I don't know. I think Dobbins is going to be that guy who continues, and he's going to be touchdown dependent. Every year he comes in and does something like this, so I think you can expect more of like what you've seen from him doing that kind of stuff, the touchdowns especially.
I think as long as he stays healthy, he kind of lives in that RB10 to RB15 category the rest of the season.
But he can't get stuffed. He can't get stuffed at the goal line. He needs to not do that.
Yeah, well, for so many reasons.
So many reasons.
Romo Dunze, we talked about this a little bit already, Kacey. He's wide receiver 4 right now. We had him ranked at wide receiver 32. This is, I think, a pretty easy one. We've already sort of talked about this. He's the alpha in Chicago.
That's a guy you want.
He's a guy you want, and you want to be starting him every freaking week. You have to right now. He's too good, and he's Caleb's little safety blanket.
Yes, and I mean, yes, and they're going against the Cowboys and their defense. Like, yeah, this should be a game where all the wide receivers should be able to do something on both sides. So I know we were talking. So I saw a comment earlier about the Cowboys and the Bears, but that's cool. I don't know. Oh, Frank in the chat.
Yeah.
One more week to bury DJ Moore because they're going up against the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. Quentin Johnston, wide receiver 5. We had him ranked at wide receiver 70 heading into the season. We've talked a little bit about this Chargers offense. I think he's Herbert's favorite target. It's going to ding McConkey a little bit. We've seen it ding McConkey a little bit, but is that going to continue with Quentin Johnston?
I think so. I know last year it kind of was like boom or bust with him. After a while, we were like, can we trust, because it was. So maybe I've heard, maybe that. No, I think, he's gonna be the guy that sees most of the Herbert benefits. MVP Herbert.
I do too. This guy, people forget because we dunked on him so hard his first couple of seasons because he had drop issues and wasn't getting used and just kind of got put in the doghouse.
Yep.
But he was a first round pick and he's a talented wide receiver. And I think this continues with Quentin Johnston. I think he's becoming a favorite target of Herbert, an offense that throws more often. 7 targets, 2 weeks in a row. He's got 2 touchdowns in the first game, 1 in the second. I think this continues. I don't think he's necessarily like a top 5 wide receiver every week, but I think he's a guy who consistently finishes in the top 15 rest of season.
Like it.
Yep. Troy Franklin over in Denver, wide receiver 15. We had him ranked at wide receiver 105, Kacey. Wide receiver 105 coming into the season. He seems to be a big part of this Denver offense. He seems to have taken over that wide receiver 1 role over Cortland Sutton, former college teammate of Bo Nix, drafted last year again. Do you think Troy Franklin is now the wide receiver 1 in Denver? It's not just targets he's leading the team in. It's every major statistical receiving category right now.
Yeah. After 2 weeks, I'm not 100% sold on it, but because it feels like every week with Denver, I know this is a new season, but it's like, who's going to hit this week, right? And Cortland Sutton, we've seen him disappear and then come back, and I don't know. It might be, remember Jerry Jeudy, anyone? So that kind of.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy just never got really a foothold here. I think Jerry Judy's overrated. I don't think Troy Franklin is. This is gonna cool off though.
Yeah, we'll cool off.
It'll cool off. He'll be a back end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3 by the end of the season. And Cortland Sutton's going to correct himself. That's going to be a big part of this offense getting better. Is they need to start hyper targeting Cortland Sutton. He's their best receiver, and it's not even close. So now moving on from Quentin Johnston and Troy Franklin, we're going to get into some tight ends here. Juwan Johnson, tight end 3, was ranked at tight end 27 heading into the season. I'm just going to say it, Casey. He's the only reliable asset for Spencer Rattler. Yeah. This isn't slowing down, and I'm firing him up every week. I think he's a top five tight end prospect.
Yeah,
every single week this season.
He's going to continue to throw to him. And he's going to continue to catch it. That's pretty easy to put him in your tight end lineup, especially if you're somebody like me who's like George Kittle goes down or whatever, Travis Kelce does whatever. It's like,
Well, and what I like the most about his first 2 weeks is that week 1, 15.6 fantasy points. He was tight end 2 on the week. He didn't have a touchdown. 8 catches for 76 yards is all he needed. Then week 2, 9 targets, 5 catches. He only had 49 yards, but he tacked on a touchdown that week. He can get it done both ways, where a lot of tight ends at this back end or some of the dart throws were, please God, they've got to score a touchdown. Juwan Johnson's just a volume tight end at this point, and it's wonderful.
Working.
Okay, now here's a name I didn't think I was ever going to say on a fantasy football show. We know it; he exists. Davis Allen, tight end over in Los Angeles with the Rams. He's got 2 touchdowns, not target heavy. He's had 3 targets, 2 catches. He's got a total of 21 receiving yards. Snap share on the season below 40% average, but he's got the 2 touchdowns. He's seeing red zone looks. Davis Allen we had ranked as tight end 94, and that's saying something. I looked at that and I was like, dear God, I guess I didn't really think about it, but wow. We ranked 94 tight ends. That's insane.
That is insane.
Right now, he's tight end 11. Obviously, the volume's not there for a guy like Davis Allen. That's not what we're going to talk about. The thing that is there is the touchdown equity. Does he continue to see these red zone looks? Are you willing to take a flyer on a guy like Davis Allen if you're streaming tight ends? Maybe a team that's not good at covering tight ends in the red zone, a team like Philly that just has a hard time with it. Would you fire him up there?
I mean, okay, yes, because I've been in certain situations where it's like there is nothing available and I have to I'm in a 14 team league where I'm sure I don't even want to go look right now. But yeah, I'd feel comfortable streaming him possibly if that was like the last resort kind of thing. I think there might be other guys out there on waivers if they haven't already been picked up that would be more secure for you because of the lack of it is touchdown dependent. But you know what? Those guys have come in clutch in the past for fantasy.
They do.
For fill-in purposes.
This is a week where if I'm hurting at tight end, I might throw in Davis Allen just because they're playing Philly, and Philly notoriously can't cover tight ends. Maybe he gets a touchdown this week. But this is probably one of the only weeks this season where I'm like, I'd be willing to risk it with Davis Allen. Otherwise, there's just...
I didn't write anything about him, so if that tells you anything.
Well, if you didn't write about him, then forget about it.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to say about that guy.
Before we get on to our next segment, Casey, we've got some questions in the chat I'd like to get to here real quick. We have, that's how you get tinnitus. That's an interesting name. I'll allow it here. Over on YouTube, should I trade Brian Thomas Jr. and A.J. Brown for Rome Odunze, Mike Evans, and Keenan Allen? Casey, would you make that trade?
Okay, sorry, I have to actually read it again. TJ and A.J. Brown for Odunze, Evans, and Keenan. You're trading away BTJ and AJ Brown. Yeah, I would.
I would too. Odunze more than makes up for both of their volume.
Yep.
And then you get Evans and Keenan Allen.
I'm not feeling very positive about the volume either of those guys going forward. AJ.
Well, I think Philly's moving over to such a just like flat out run heavy approach.
Yeah, they're not throwing touchdowns. No touchdowns
they're
to be thrown.
They're running them in. Yeah. Next one is Tron Force. Someone offered me James Cook and Travis Etienne for Christian McCaffrey. I don't think that's enough. You can't start them both. Well, I mean, I guess you could start them both, but you can't start them both in the one slot for CMC. I'm going to need more for CMC as long as he's healthy.
I don't think that's enough either.
Okay, he also wants to know, Casey, would you trade Travis Hunter and Wan'Dale Robinson for Ricky Pearsall and Baker Mayfield, or straight up for Drake May? Or Baker Mayfield or Drake May here, paired with Ricky Pearsall. I don't think I would.
I don't think I would either.
Travis Hunter's too volatile, and Wan'Dale Robinson saw a ton of volume last year, then a ton of volume last week. We don't know how consistent that's going to be. And here's the thing about Wan'Dale Robinson. The minute that Jackson Dart starts, forget about Wan'Dale Robinson.
Let me have this right now, even though I'm not a Giants fan. I'm a Wan'Dale Robinson fan. So
I am too. I love Wan'Dale. I just don't know that.
I know.
I wouldn't give up Hunter and Wan'Dale.
No, I'm not.
No, I wouldn't.
Not this early in the season, especially. I think we got to.
No. But if you're giving up Travis Hunter and Wan'Dale for Ricky Pearsall and Baker Mayfield, 1,000% yes, do that. If you can get Baker. He's a QB1 tier guy, in my opinion, rest of season. Jamie Parag wants to know, what about when Trey Harris gets involved? He can actually consistently catch the ball better than Mr. Bricks for hands. I love Trey Harris. I don't see Trey Harris getting involved in this offense at all whatsoever. So, sorry, buddy, but no, Trey Harris ain't it this year. Maybe next year we'll see more Trey Harris. Joe Hamilton out here, as a Denver fan, I don't know how to feel about Sutton and Franklin.
I wouldn't either.
I'm with you, Joe. I don't really know what to do. I don't know.
Yeah, it's blah.
Yeah, it's blah. Joe also wants to know, Casey, were your parents big fans of Saved by the Bell or the American Top 40?
I was born in the 80s, so before the wonderful, wonderful Saved by the Bell was on our television screens. It's a nickname, so I'm sure. Yeah. I know they are big fans of Kacey Kasem. I am too. Yeah, but my friend gave me this nickname, and it stuck because I was a child at the time, and now here I am, stuck with all my handles.
Hey, I love it. I think it's awesome. We got one more from Tron Force, Casey, then we'll move on to our best and worst of this week. He said, thank you both. You're very much welcome. With Jaden Daniels questionable, I picked up Mac Jones. Are any of these waiver QBs better options? Got Russell Wilson. Nope.
No.
Sam Darnold. No. Geno Smith. I'm getting a little bit worried about Geno.
Yeah.
Bryce Young. Definitely not. Carson Wentz. No. Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Yeah, no, probably not. Matthew Stafford. That's the one I'm kind of. I might go Stafford over Mac Jones. Not Joe Flacco though.
No,
definitely not Joe Flacco.
But Stafford, I think
Stafford's the one I'd consider if you need something more long term. If it looks like Jaden Daniels is going to be out longer, I'd pivot to Stafford. But for now, I think you're okay with Mac Jones. Yep. Joe Hamilton saying, brought a smile to my face seeing your name.
Thanks,
that's awesome.
Joe.
We love it, Joe. Yes, thank you guys. That's awesome. Barely Fantasy. Hey, everybody, hit that like button. Subscribe too if you haven't already. Please do. Yes, we've got our Dynasty show tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be Lou and I. It's quick 30 minutes. We're just going to run through just kind of a quick temp check of what's going on in Dynasty. And then you can catch us again on Friday and then again on Sunday morning for Start Sit. And then come back around to Mr. Barely Fantasy. Evan will be with me on Monday night for Waiver Wires. You guys don't want to miss any of that. Now let's get to the most and least exciting of week 3, Casey. We talked about this a little bit before the show. We both agree on the least exciting game. It's the Steelers-Patriots. Man, nobody needs this.
I mean,
nobody needs this.
Some of their moms might, just to
maybe
say my son's on TV, go watch him.
Look, I'm a Steelers fan, and I'm not going to watch this game. I'll wear my J.J. Watt jersey during the slate, but I ain't watching this game. I have zero desire. It's going to be ugly. I'm unimpressed with Drake May right now. I don't love the Patriots offense, and Aaron Rodgers in black and gold just kind of makes me sad sometimes. Week 1, I was happy with it. Week 2, not so much. He looked like an old man again. It just all kind of fell apart. Now, the best of the week. Let's talk about your matchup first, Kacey.
Yo, I would like to watch Broncos and Chargers. And there's a few reasons. I want to watch it for fantasy purposes to see, okay, Justin Herbert's been amazing. So I just want to keep seeing that. I want to see Keenan Allen. And then with the Broncos, with the question marks that we've been having with is Franklin going to be the guy? What's going on with Sutton? I'd like to see just how that plays out against the Chargers and just have that one extra week of looky looks to kind of figure out what's going on.
I think it's interesting how good the Chargers defense has been. I want to see what Denver's offense can do against him as well. I want to see if the Quentin Johnston love continues against this Denver secondary, because this PJ Locke and Patrick Surtain are very, very good cornerbacks. Do we see more Ladd McConkey maybe this week? I'm curious about that. Do we see more heavy workload for Omari and Hampton against this defense?
That's another, There's a lot of storylines to pay attention to in this one for fantasy football purposes. That's
yeah. The only reason I didn't pick this game is because it felt very homerish. It'd be my third week in a row picking my Broncos here. Yeah. And then mine, Kacey, Lions, Ravens. I want to see if this Lions offense can kill it, right? If they can do it against Baltimore, because they looked so good last week, looked so bad week 1 against Green Bay. I want to see where they sit against another elite defense.
Love it.
And that's about the extent of why I care about this game. And I like to see the Ravens lose. I've hated them since Ray Lewis. So I just want them to lose. Except I love Lamar Jackson.
Good in the
I
bad.
know it's tough. But yeah, this is the one I'm most excited about this week. That and Broncos Chargers. I think those are going to be the two best games on this slate. So it should be a good weekend. Just don't watch the Steelers game. Pats, Steelers, no one. All right, Kacey, we're going to get out of here in a minute. But first, on the spot, who is your biggest fantasy bust in week 3?
On the spot, because I did not even think about this. I'm going to go. I don't know how many of you guys and gals out there picked up Russell Wilson, but I'm going to say that last week was fluky and this week is going to be more. Just temper your expectations. I think it's going to be a busty bust, and not that you wouldn't expect that, but yeah. Sorry to those.
No, it's going to be Russell Wilson. It's absolutely going to be Russell Wilson. Mine right now for the week, I've been back and forth between a couple of players, and I hate to say this, but I think it's going to be Devon Achane. Right now, he's sitting at RB8 in the week 3 rankings, but they're playing Buffalo. I think Achane finishes outside the top 20 this week.
Yeah.
I think Miami's going to get absolutely freaking obliterated. This game's it's not going to be fun for Miami.
It's not going to be fun.
It's going to be fun for Bills fans. Yeah. No, and Jamie says Achane is in his top 5 because of the passing volume. I'm sorry, man. He's probably going to get targeted, but this Buffalo defense is going to shut this team down very quickly. And then they're going to have to go deep a lot. It's going to be a Waddle game. Joe Hamilton saying, don't say that about Achane. I have him in 1 of 5 leagues. I have him in 4 of 26 leagues. I feel your pain. I'm not loving that I'm going to pivot away from him this week, but I probably am going to pivot away from him this week. Well, folks, that's going to do it for us here on the Optimus Fantasy Show. Of course, you can find us every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back next week for week 4. But until then, make sure you head over to tools.optimusfantasy.com. Use that promo code 3 to get $10 off your first 3 months. Check us out on Discord as well. If you've got questions and you're watching this or listening to the podcast, head on over to Discord. We'll help you out there. We've got a whole staff just ready to answer all of your questions. For Kacey Kasem, I am Nate Polvogt, guys. Good luck this week in fantasy. Go win those matchups, and we'll see you next week.